Hi, good day everybody, and welcome to Fun at Mathematics as we continue to develop number sense. Last day we would have looked at the concept of percentages, and we said a percent is really a fraction with a denominator of 100. So for example, if we had 25 out of 100, then we can say that is 25%. We also said if we are given a percent, for example, if we had 45, let's take it here, 45%, we can write that as a fraction, 45 out of 100. Or we know that if we have 45 hundredths, 45 hundredths is really as a decimal 0.45. So we said last day that a percent can be used or expressed as a fraction and as a decimal. Okay? Before we get on to today's task, I want to teach you a little skill, a quick skill in mathematics. Alright? And that is when we are multiplying by 100. When we are multiplying by 100, what we simply do, if we have 6 times 100, we know the answer is 600. Well, the skill I want to show you that if we have 6, we know that the decimal point is understood to the right of the whole number. So because the point is understood there, if we have to say 6 times 100, we can just shift the point 2 places to the right. Okay, and we fill up here with zeros. Our point is now in this position, so we can say our point has moved to here. It was here, we shifted 2 places to the right, so we end up with 600. Alright, let's try another one. If we had 9.5 times 100, we take our 9.5 and we are multiplying by 100. There is 2 zeros, yeah, to remind us that we go 2 places to the right. Okay, we put in that 0 there, so we end up at 950. Alright, so just remind yourself of that skill. Alright, and while we are on that, maybe I should remind you, and when we are multiplying by 10, we just shift it 1 place to the right. So if we had 7.2 times 10, we put our 7.2, and because it's 10, 1 0, 1 place to the right. So we end up at 72. 4 times 100, our point is here, we shift it 2 places, we end up at 400. Okay, now let's get on to today's task. Alright, there is an algorithm, a rule that is developed in mathematics that says when you have to take a number, any number, whether it be a fraction, a decimal, a whole number, to convert it to a percent, you simply multiply by 100. For example, if we have 1/2 and we want to convert 1/2 to a percentage, we just say 1/2 times 100. We put it over 1 because 100 over 1 is the same as 100. Just as a placeholder, so we will be able to distinguish our numerators from our denominators. Alright, and you go ahead and you work, because I would have taught you in a previous video how to go about multiplying fractions. Alright, so if you can't multiply fractions, you go back to that video and you look at it. Good. So 2 into 2, 1, and 1 times 50 is 50, and 50 over 1 is the same as 50, so we get 50%. Yeah, and I'm sure you remember that 50% is really a half. So to get a half as a percentage, we said a half times 100 and we get 50%. So the rule I'm saying is to convert any number, a fraction, a decimal, a whole number, any number to a percentage, you simply multiply by 100. So if I have to say 8, I want to write 8 as a percentage. I just say 8 times 100. 1, 2. I get 800%. One whole. One whole as a percent will be 1 times 100. 1 times 100 and I get 100%. So you need to remember that one whole is 100%. And it makes sense. If a half is 50%, a half and half make a whole, right? So we would have one whole being 100%. All right? So we can be able to try these. We can say 6.7 as a percent. And that will be 6.7 times 100. 6.7, 1, 2, and we get 670%. 1 quarter as a percent. A quarter times 100. We put it over 1. 4 into 4, 1. 4 into 10, 2, remainder 2. 4 into 20, 5. And 1 times 25 is 25. 1 times 1 is 1. So we get 25%. Right? So this is very, very easy stuff. What we are saying, that when we want to convert any number to a percent, a fraction, a decimal, or a whole number, we simply multiply the number by 100. Easy? Alright? So 3/4 as a percent. 3/4 times 100. 4 into 4, 1. 4 into 10, 2. Remainder 2. 3 times 25 is 75. 1 times 1 is 1. So this is really 75 over 1. It is really 75%. So look at that. Let's see. Let's do the reverse of this. Let's do the reverse of this. We said 3/4 is 75%. Let's do the reverse of it to make sense out of it. 75%. 75% is really 75 out of 100. And if we reduce 75 out of 100, 25 into 75 is 3 and 25 into 100 is 4. We get back our 3/4. Yeah. So I shall send you an exercise, alright, where you would have to practice this skill. And remember, we can say to change or to convert any number, a big number, a small number, a fraction, a decimal, a whole number, any number, to a percentage, multiply by 100. Alright, so until then, so long.